Hey everybody, welcome back to SpaceBall. I am your host, Geek Space founder and editor-in-chief Danny. I am here with our sports editor, Robert Howard, MLB. He is the great
season.
He's the new commissioner. We've named him. Yeah, he's. And,
Can I be as drunk?
I don't know if Manfred is drunk. I think all his problems are natural.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
So we.
How have you been, Dan? How have you been?
Good. We took a week off because of, as we discussed in the prior podcast, the World Series was still going on the day that we would usually be recording. Unfortunately, it was not done in 4 as I was kind of hoping it would be, but
yeah, and it wasn't done in 7 because Kevin Cash is a fucking idiot. But we could talk about that in a little bit. I suppose to just jump right into it. We finished the MLB season, the Major League Baseball pandemic 2020 season, shortened but still a season, and is concluded.
And more importantly, you and I have now done an entire baseball season's worth of podcasts.
That's right.
That's what this is all really about.
That's really what it is.
I don't give a shit about baseball. I just care about content.
No. Exactly.
If I gave a shit about baseball, I would be able to name more than 5 players.
That's true. Have you? Everybody, go back and listen to our previous episodes. He only says 5 players' names.
I think I just say Bryce Harper whenever I don't know a player. I'll just say Bryce Harper.
Well, you see, Bryce Harper was really good about this.
Bryce Harper, Mike Trout,
JT Real Muto.
Yeah, JT.
You can't not name JT.
Vladdy. Tatis. I think that's all I got.
Yeah. That's as far as we get.
I don't know why Vladdy stuck out in my mind. That's weird.
You see, there's a door behind him, and what happens is we pause the video. There's a little behind the scenes, and then another guy comes in, and he names 5 other people.
You think this is connected to my computer? This is actually a wire that runs to somebody who's standing behind the door that feeds me the information in real time.
Yes, exactly. See, sports analyst and sports analyst too. I had a new title, but
Bobby has promoted himself mid podcast, or I guess demoted himself.
Yeah,
you're the editor now. You've decided to go part time.
Listen, dude, analytics is the future of baseball. It'll help you fucking throw away Game 6 so quick.
I won't get to use it this season, but I was gonna say now, Bobby Howard AWS would have been a good one.
I love it.
All statistics brought to you by Amazon Web Services.
Yep. It always upsets me about that logo because the whole purpose is that little arrow was because Amazon has everything from A to Z, and now they use it for everything, and it'll be like Amazon Prime Video, and it'll be the A to the O, and I'm like, fuck off. Do it correctly, you dipshits. Anyway, back to baseball.
Okay.
The World Series, obviously, we had done the rundown. It was Tampa Bay Rays versus the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes.
First 2 games were, relatively uneventful, I will say. Even Game 3, like Game 1, they flip flop back and forth. Game 1
was good. Game 1 was the Dodgers taking the command in the 5th inning, going 8-3 by the end of the game.
No, more so, I should say they were. I watched the entire game, obviously, from start to finish, but. But more so what I mean is it was less competitive.
Sure. Yes.
But I mean, at the same time, I don't necessarily like the score kind of shows that it's less competitive.
Yeah.
It was they were still all relatively close games. That game 1, here's the thing, and I'll get more into how Kevin Cash is a fucking dipshit later. But this is the start of the dipshit times for Kevin Cash, because the entire year you're following the analytics. You're following everything like that. Why did you let Tyler Glasnow pitch for 115? Pitch count get up to 115? Doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, I don't understand why you didn't follow your game plan in that game, but then in later games just be like, oh, okay, this works, but realistically it doesn't. Glass now got lit up. I'm pretty sure he had like a 6.84 ERA by the end of the World Series. At least within the World Series. Like every game that he played was a shit show. And I mean, that happens. Like just like Clayton Kershaw, like that happens as far as that. But it still bears repeating that like there's two different sides of this as far as like how poorly the game 1 and game 6 were managed by Kevin Cash, but we can't not talk about game 4. Game 4 was such a bloodbath back and forth.
I still have things I want to talk about from the first 3 games.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. You went from discussing game 1, Kevin Cash, to just being like, anyway, so game 4.
Sorry. I didn't mean for it to sound like I was segueing to game 4. I'm just saying there are like there we can't not skip over game 4.
Well, we're not. Nobody's going to skip over any of these games.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
Okay, so game 1. Look, you're right. It was by the middle of the game. It was super dominant on the Dodgers. Like we started off with a 2-run blast right off Tyler Glasnow, as you were saying. Cody Bellinger hit a home run with an exit velocity of 107 miles per hour, which is just fucking insane.
Yep.
And Mookie had a home run that game. I think that was the Kike game where he also had a home run. Was game 1, right?
No, Kike had a. I don't think Kike did. Kike even record a home run in the World Series? I don't think he did.
I thought he had one. Maybe I'm wrong.
I know that I know that he had an RBI.
He definitely had. Maybe I'm just thinking it was the last game of
game 7.
NLCS.
Yeah, game 7. He was a man possessed in ripping people's arms off when he high-fived them. But anyway, I'll say I could be wrong about that. He did record a hit that game, but
it was not a home run though. You're right.
Okay. Anyway,
but there was 2 home runs. There was a Bellinger home run that was that
was starting of the scoring, I believe.
4th inning, yeah, and then Mookie had one in the 6th, and then Bellinger had 2 RBIs. Kike had an RBI. Mookie had an RBI. Muncy had 2 RBIs. Will Smith had an RBI. Is his Charles Taylor? Is his first name? He's their utility guy, second baseman.
You're talking about the Dodgers?
Yeah, Chris Taylor. Chris
Taylor
had an RBI.
Yep.
And it wasn't like the Rays did nothing. Brasso had an RBI. Kiermaier had 2. But it's just by the middle of that game, it was almost like, why are the Tampa Bay Rays even here tonight? It was just...
Yes.
It was insane.
And with baseball is such a great sport because, it's a game of inches. And that's what everybody always says, It's a game of inches as far as, even when you're down... Nowadays, even when you're down 8-3... you still have the possibility of coming back. Yeah. But this was also a game where Randy Arozarena had 0 hits. The Rays offense itself was pretty stifled. I mean, right here I can see Manuel Margot. They had 6 hits in total, but their guys Kevin Kiermaier was playing great. Kevin Kiermaier throughout this entire series was consistent. Same with Randy Arozarena for the most part. I mean, first game he was held hitless, and he did only he in 3 at bats. He also had a walk, but not out of it or anything. But yeah, the Dodgers game 1 was very, very commanding. It was very just a lot of it was just very. I suppose methodical is probably the best way that I can put it. Is just the Dodgers came in with a plan. No bullshit. Clayton on the mound. 6 innings pitched. Only 1 earned run. I believe it was just a home run. And from there they went Floro, Gonzalez, Baez, and then actually Joe Kelly closed the game out.
Yeah, that's right.
And I would say game 1. Eventful if you're a Dodgers fan. For the most part, it was competitive until about the 5th inning really broke open the scoring. And that's the thing. The Dodgers, one thing that I will say about like the series as a whole is the Dodgers with 2 outs. That is, we were talking about it before we had started, but the Dodgers, like, that's a testament to a fucking crazy good team. Is that even with 2 outs, you fucking are not out of the woods. Most of their scoring came from 2 outs this entire series. But yeah, I would say anything else on game 1 that you want to mention?
Yeah, I'm starting a new segment in our final episode of the season, which is Danny's absolutely fucking useless statistic that will nonetheless be quoted by every fucking sports analyst for the next 3 years. Ready? Game 1 of the World Series of 2020. The Dodgers' RISP is 357. There you go.
All right. We're going to have it for every single game or just...
No. It's just the one. Which is my point, is that that's never going to matter again. But
yeah.
You know, they'll mention it.
Yep, they will. They definitely will.
It's for those of you wondering at home, 5 for 14 was the actual fraction, but so it was an average of, a percentage of 357. So there you go. Okay, yes, game 2.
So game 2, Brandon Lau had a fucking abysmal postseason until this point. If I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure Brandon Lau, I would say game 4, game 2 went on a tear. I believe he had 2 home runs, 3 RBIs in total, and I would say he had started off the scoring at the beginning of the game, if I recall correctly. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not sounding like a big dummy. Yes, that was the case, because Brandon Lau, like, what? You look like you were
I was just
laughing
at you calling yourself a big dummy.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I would say, yeah, Brandon Lau homered twice in that, and honestly, from there, pretty much what happened: first inning, Brandon Lau home run; fourth inning, Brandon Lau 3-run home run, and then from there, the Dodgers kept trying to. I would say they kept trying to get it back in. They had Tony Gonsolin on the mound, and like he had going into the game, he had a 9.95 ERA. So like, there wasn't really too much that was going to be done in that regard. But that being said, the Rays still tried. Or excuse me, not the Rays. The Dodgers still tried to get it back. I would say with. Bottom of the. Let me see when it was. This is bottom of the 5th inning. They had gotten 2 runs across, and even at the end of the game, 6-4, fairly close. And the Rays just managed it so much better. And I mean, look who was on the mound, but Blake Snell.
Yeah,
like 4 innings, 4 and 2/3 pitch, 2 hits, 2 earned runs. And then from there, Nick Anderson, Pete Fairbanks, Aaron Loop, and Diego Castillo. Mm-hmm. The stable as it's been coined. Just all around good pitching, good baseball. Yeah. And that's kind of where we were. I mean, again, the Rays did surrender 4 runs, but at the same time, there was also 5 hits.
That's what I was about to say. Is I'm not trying to diminish the Dodgers' performances at all, but the Tampa Bay Rays had 10 hits and the Dodgers had 5. Whereas the actual runs were closer. The actual offensive power of the Rays was just it doubled. It literally doubled how the Dodgers were doing.
And what was crazy about that is that Tony Gonsolin only let up the 1 run, which was for that the first Brandon Lau home run.
Yeah.
And then Dustin May surrendered 3 earned runs, which was kind of crazy to me in that, like, Dustin May was more so one of the one of the like consistent dudes, even going for like rookie of the year last year or this past year. Mm-hmm. just not necessarily uncharacteristic. I wouldn't say that he was perfect all season, but still bears repeating. It's a little crazy to me in that, like, you don't necessarily expect it, but at the same time with the World Series you expect anything.
Yeah.
The Dodgers themselves just didn't have the pitching. I would say they just didn't have it that game for game 2.
Yeah.
The Rays executed their plan and they executed it well. That's one thing that I will give is that when you actually, hone in on specifically what you, as a manager like Kevin Cash, if you hone in on the thing that's brought you to the dance,
yeah,
I have no issue. I have no issue with it.
It's you know what it was what you were saying. Oh, I forgot what team it was. Was it the Rays? Where you were saying that what bothered you so much was the game where Kevin Boone tried to emulate another team.
Aaron Boone, but yes.
Sorry, I fucking
That's okay.
Cash,
Aaron Boone.
But he was emulating Kevin Cash, right?
Yes, yeah. No, that's the thing is that the Yankees, like I would say, what I was referring to was Game 2 of the ALDS against the Rays, and what they did is they tried to emulate. They tried to emulate Kevin Cash and the Rays like idea of how to do it, and they did it poorly. Game 2, they just did it fucking poorly. And that's the thing is that if there is a team, like one team that's going to do it, I don't mind it being the Rays. I don't think that every team in the major leagues... I think that analytics are the future of baseball for sure. I don't think that everybody needs to try and emulate the Rays as far as what they're doing because...
Well, yeah, I would agree. But I was going to say, like you're saying, you got to focus on what got you to the dance and not try to do whatever... Because here's the thing. If the Rays had tried to play like the Dodgers... they would have fucking crashed. It would have been a 4-game series. Because they need to focus as a team. You need to focus on, what got you there. I mean, we were just talking before we hit recording about the 2001 Diamondbacks.
Yep.
And like that team played a very specific game that was very pitcher heavy. Not they didn't have good batters, but I mean, when you have 2 Hall of Fame pitchers in your fucking rotation, it's like that's a big. But the thing is, like. That's something that they can do. The 2020 Phillies cannot play that game because we don't have that. So
that's yeah.
But I was gonna say is to an addendum to my useless fact from Game 1, the Rays, their risk was 111.
Yep,
it was 1 for 9, and so it doesn't matter how you win. If you know how you're gonna win, that's fine.
Yes.
You just have to focus on whatever your strategy is and stop trying to be the new Dodgers or be the new Yankees or whatever the fuck it is.
Yes. You gotta people gotta stop reinventing the wheel, and they gotta also just focus on what makes their team tick and what makes them successful.
Yeah.
When it comes to the postseason, I understand changing things up as far as like making certain risks.
Keeping them on their toes, too, to the other team. Yeah,
exactly. You can't necessarily... I'm trying to say this without making it sound contradictory, but you can't necessarily, like... You can't rest on your laurels, but you also can't try and... Like, this isn't the time to try new things. This is the time to execute your plan, is pretty much the issue there. And with Game 2, I think that the Rays executed it very well.
Yeah, I'd agree. Not so much in Game 3.
No. And I mean, with all the hype going on about Big Game Charlie, not a big game for Charlie Morton.
No, he had a tough time with an ERA of 10.38.
Yep.
Christ.
Yep. And that's the thing is that. Like also in this type in these games right here, like Randy Arozarena showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Like looking at this team itself, the Rays got 4 hits. One of them being Randy Arozarena. I believe I would say Willie Adames was the other RBI. Willie Adames's. So we're clear for the entire series. 3 of 22.
Yeah, that was his one shining game, but otherwise he had a real bad, honestly, real bad postseason drought in total, but the World Series especially.
And even then, it's not necessarily this is not to correct or criticize you.
Okay.
His Again, I'm not like that's not a thing. His big game is one hit with one RBI. Like
Yeah.
that's how abysmal Willie Adames was. And I believe this is a year. I believe this is a signing year. I believe that he is a free agent. So I mean, Randy Arozarena had that home run. I believe. Oh, I don't have it in front of. I don't have the box score in front of me right now. I just have the general stats. But I believe his Randy Arozarena's home run was in the 5th inning. But Walker Buehler was.
It was the 9th inning. It was the last inning.
9th inning? Okay. So Walker Buehler was fucking lights out. 6 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, 3 hits, 1 earned run, and 1 walk. Like,
yeah.
I remember a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the Braves and that whole fucking question about Walker Buehler. There was another question that somebody said, Walker, what do you have to do in order to make sure that this team wins the World Series? And he said, I gotta stop. What's that?
Said strike people out.
He said, I gotta stop walking people and I gotta get more strikeouts. 10 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Yeah. Well, hey, you fucking
did
delivered.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, they call it Striker Bueller.
Exactly.
I'm sure nobody's ever made that joke.
You know what? I like it. I don't care if anybody made the joke.
Yeah.
We're keeping it. Striker Bueller.
But
like a t-shirt.
He only allowed, I think, 2 hits.
3 hits.
3?
Yep, just
Margot, Adames, and who? Because the Rosarena one was off of Jensen.
It was Austin Meadows.
When did Austin Meadows get? Well, I'm not doubting you. I'm just trying to remember.
Austin Meadows was a DH.
Yeah,
he was 1 for 4.
Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong. I can't remember when. Like, I'm trying to remember in my head what that inning.
Yes, like what inning it was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, not important, but still, yeah. Only 3 hits. Only 3 hits the entire game.
It would have. I was like, the what I can tell you is the hit was inconsequential because Manny Margot was the run that Willie Adames had hit in,
and that was a walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. At that point, I mean, that's what you want from your ace. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Clayton Kershaw, but he is definitely over the hill, as opposed to at his prime.
We got him a ring. Now we're gonna take him out to the farm and fucking bullet the back of his head.
But like more so, what I mean when I say that is just he's like Walker Buehler is absolutely your ace, your starting pitcher, the one that you're always going to be going to. And with Blake Trinan, Bruce Gratterall, they were good. And then Kenley Jansen's been up and down, and but I mean, just gave up 1 run, and then the game they closed the game out.
Yeah.
However, if we go to game 4,
well, I just want to say you're not wrong about Jensen, but I was gonna say I know a lot of. Or like maybe it was just the game, maybe it was just situation. I saw a lot of Dodgers people on Twitter bitching about Jensen, and can I just say, as a team, as somebody from a team where we don't have relievers nearly that good, he only looks bad in comparison to the rest of the Dodgers.
Yes,
like he's a fine reliever. Please don't fucking show up at Jensen's house with torches and pitchforks.
Kenley Jansen is their closer.
Yeah,
that's my point. So what I will say is that I agree that people like when it comes to Kenley Jansen, he's a great pitcher. I think that what's funny is that when it comes to Kenley Jansen, yes, people are bitching, but normally for me, and this might just be me, maybe not, I think that your best relief pitcher should be your closer.
Sure.
So, like, that's where I can see people complaining about how Kenley Jansen let up a home run or whatnot. But at the end of the day, that happens. Like
against
Mariano Rivera let up a home run against Luis Gonzalez.
Look, when you're a fucking reliever, he let up a home run against a guy who could easily be AL MVP. Like, it's
Yes.
Randy Arozarena. It wasn't like it was fucking nobody. Like,
Yes.
and not to mention, I mean, like, again, it's just like you're playing on a team with LeBron. Who are the other relievers on the Dodgers? I mean, Trinan's really good. Then you have Dustin May, and then your rotation is Clayton Kershaw, literally a legend. Walker Buehler, young gun. Like, who are you gonna stand next to where you don't look slightly insufficient?
I understand that. Yeah, I feel you.
All I'm saying is, if you don't want him, just send him my way. I'll take him for free.
I'm certain the Phillies will take him.
Some people got to pay to get rid of their recycling. I'm saying, hey, I'll do it for free.
Yep. And with that, we will go on to the fucking crazy Game 4.
That was the most fun game I think I've ever watched in a World Series.
If I recall correctly, we were on voice chat and we were just like going back and forth with that whole thing. I would say with this, I'm actually gonna pull up the box score itself because this game.
Well, I'll start off then.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so it started off pretty. Slow but strong for the Dodgers. They had 2 runs in the first and the third, and they were. I think they were. Give me a second. Hold on. I know what these which ones were which innings. I swear to God I do. Pollock, I think, was a double. Yeah, Pollock was a double in the first, and then Kike was a hit in the first. That they got 1 run in the first inning, and then who got 1 in the third inning? Seager got a home run in the third inning. Yes. That was the other run. Anyway, sorry.
You're good. I would say so real quick.
Yeah.
I would say for the game, the first, I would say, because I got the whole fucking thing here. The first scoring that we had was Justin Turner. Justin Turner hit a home run on the top of the first inning. Because Mookie Betts pop up and then Corey Seager lined out. Justin Turner, because those were the 2 people. Corey Seager and Justin Turner were like neck and neck for World Series MVP.
Yeah.
They were the most, like, of the Dodgers. Obviously, Corey Seager has been on fucking fire in the postseason. There's only one other person who had more RBIs, and I believe it was David Freese in the 2011 postseason. Anybody who's a Texas Ranger fan who's listening to this, I'm fucking sorry, but David Freese had your ass. I don't give a shit. He's in the annals of history. That being said, top of the first, the scoring started off with Justin Turner's home run to deep center field. From there, you got like Randy Arozarena with a single to center field, caught, and then he gets caught stealing it. And just to point out, Julio Urias, fucking great.
Yeah.
Like for him to be able to go through this game and only this fucking weird vibe of a fucking World Series game, to have only let up 2 runs is kind of astonishing to me. But he was dealing, he was dealing all game. And so we're clear, both teams, this was a bullpen game. This was the pen, the stable. Yeah. Like, there wasn't, like, Julio Urias, like, yes, he can definitely start for sure. I believe he did during the season, him and Dustin May. But the main thing for that is that I would say 9 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 2/3 innings. Not bad. Not bad at all, especially considering. But I was going to say, yeah, the Dodgers started the scoring in the first. Another, I believe, in the top of the third inning, Corey Seager hit a home run because he was not to be outdone. And from there, everybody was like, oh, okay, we're cruising, whatever. Yeah. It's not like it looks like it's going to be 3-1 Dodgers. And then the Rays decided in the top of the fourth, or in the bottom of the fourth inning, to be like, nope. Randy Arozarena hits a deep fly to center field, right field. From there, Max Muncy is able to, I would say, from there, that was the scoring of the fourth inning. Top of the fifth inning, Muncy hits a double, but then is pulled off the bag, and Corey Seager scores. Muncy is pulled off the bag, and then for some reason is called out. He slid, and then Adames literally brings him down. I don't understand. I suppose that the idea is that the forward momentum of the slide was his fault, so that's how he got pulled off. But you can straight up see Adames hugging him. Mm-hmm. So that was where I was like, that's pretty weird. I don't. If I was a Dodgers fan, I would have been fucking furious if that was me. But again, alas, that is how the inning ended. Dodgers up 3-1 at this point, and then fifth, there's a Hunter Renfroe hits a home run off of Julio Urias, and then Urias 2 strikeouts, and then he's replaced by Blake Treinen. No more damage really. 3-2 Dodgers at that point, and then Kike hits a double to left field. Will Smith scores, and AJ Pollock is to third. And I mean, I know that we normally don't do this, but I feel like this game in general, and if you want to jump in, by all means, but the rundown is just more so what I'm getting at is when I say this is each inning was just a fucking slugfest as far as who was going to come out on top. From there, Brandon Lau, the next bottom of the sixth, hit us a home run. That being said, it was a 3-run home run. Arozarena scored, Choi scored off of it. So from there, I believe the Rays tie it, right? It was tied, or were they up?
They were
1, 2,
down.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
So no, the Rays, it would have been 5-4 Rays. Because the Dodgers scored first inning, third inning, fifth inning. And then sixth inning. So now Rays are up, and we're just like, what the fuck is going on here? And the thing is, when that happened, when Ji-Man Choi walked, and then when Randy Arozarena hit that single, and then Ji-Man Choi walked, I remember seeing that, and I remember seeing that Pedro Baez was being replaced by Blake Treinen, and I was just like, this seems like a moment where Brandon Lau is just going to come up big. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, 3-run home run, Rays are in the lead. But again, the Dodgers just coming back, second in, or 2 people out. A single from Jock Peterson, and then Corey Seager scores and Justin Turner score. Bellinger gets thrown out at third, and again, just fucking ridiculous plays left and right for this game. Kevin Kiermaier hits a home run in the bottom of the 7th, and then Corey Seager, Mr. MVP, single up the left field. Chris Taylor scores. Just fucking absolutely wild stuff. So from the top of the 8th, nothing doing. I would say from there, it is 7-6 Dodgers.
Yeah.
We go into the bottom of the 9th. Kenley Jansen strikes out Yoshi Tsutsugo. Kevin Kiermaier hits a single to center field. Mm-hmm. This is where things start getting a little crazy. Joey Wendell lines out to left field, and then Randy Arozarena comes up to bat. They put this narrative for Randy Arozarena where it was, oh man, Randy Arozarena just took Kenley deep last night. Mm-hmm. What are they going to do? He walks him. He doesn't intentionally walk him, but Kenley Jansen verbally, you can clearly see on his lips that he says, he's my out. Cool. I love it. I love the confidence.
Yeah.
Walked him, not awful. It was a 3-2 at bat. It was full count. So it was a nice take by Arozarena.
And can I just say, I think you were saying in chat they should just intentionally walk him.
Yeah, no, I mean they should. Like that like for me, I always go back to how the Angels rather beat the Giants in 2002. Mm-hmm. Like love him or hate him, Barry Bonds was on fucking fire like that entire postseason.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has records for that shit too. And they intentionally walked him in the World Series, got the next batter out, game over.
Mm.
This game is a different story. Brett Phillips comes up to bat, and after a 1-2 count, it's a single to center field. Single to center field. I want to make sure that I have the correct name, just to make certain that I'm not fucking anybody up. And if you can help me, was it Chris Taylor who was in center field for this play?
Let me think about this. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Chris. It should be Chris Taylor because originally Pollock was in center field, and then they swapped out Pollock for Peterson, and Peterson went to left field.
Yep.
And so then I think they put Chris Taylor in center.
So, single to center. Chris Taylor is in center field. You can clearly see, and Randy Arozarena is fast as fuck.
Yeah, super speedy.
As soon as that happens, like as soon as Kevin Kiermaier is on third, obviously he moves to second. From there, as soon as that ball is hit, Kiermaier's gone. Mm-hmm. Kiermaier's home. Game's tied. Now, that being said, Arozarena, they're already waving him home, and Chris Taylor hasn't even picked up the ball yet.
Yeah.
From there, Randy Arozarena, like the game is already tied. He's running, trip, stumble, rolls all the way down totally third base falls. Line.
Yeah.
Stops, thinks that he's caught in a rundown. Chris Taylor sends it. Max Muncy catches it first, throws it to home. Honestly, not a bad throw by Max Muncy.
No.
Not a bad throw. The error lied with Chris Taylor bobbling that ball because honestly, Chris Taylor catches that ball in center field. It's definitely possible that Kevin Kiermaier might be out. Might. Yeah. Not like it's not Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger had back spasms, so that's why he was DHing this game. But absolutely possible that he could have, he being Chris Taylor, could have gotten him out. Yeah. Could have had the throw online. He didn't. Sends it to Will Smith.
Yeah.
And Will Smith wheels around, doesn't handle the ball properly, thinks that Arozarena is there because he doesn't know that he stumbled and tripped, and then runs for the ball. Arozarena slides in, slams the home plate, and that's game 4.
Well, we should say he actually, the way that the trajectory of the ball went, Will Smith didn't realize he lost the ball.
Yes. He went for the quick spin to just get him out.
When he spun, it went out of his glove behind him, and he went and tagged. And had the ball been in his glove, Randy would have been out.
Yep.
But then he opened his glove, realized the ball wasn't there, and had to turn around to go find it. And then that's when Arozarena picked himself up and crawled basically to home plate and got the run.
So the thing is, the ball doesn't even go into his mitt. He literally has it. Closes it before the ball is there. It flies to the right or the left. And his right, our left. And just from the angle that we would have seen it at. And then ball game over. And I mean, bad. That was just very bad. If there's any argument as far as if this Dodgers team is an all-time, I would agree that they absolutely talent-wise they do. People will point to this game and be like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was wild. It was what the World Series needed, honestly.
That was a fart slam. That was a walk-off fart slam.
Yeah. And, man, it was awesome. I love baseball.
Yeah, it was a heat moment.
Oh, yeah. And, like, that was also what was cool was Brett Phillips, a guy who hadn't recorded a hit in the last month, made that play. That was just incredible. And
game 4, he is now Tampa Bay legend Brett Phillips.
Oh yeah, Yes.
Forever.
And I mean, regardless of how that I mean, dude, if how this could have ended, oh my God, if the Rays would have ended up winning this, fuck, that would have been insane. And then we just go on to Game 5. If there's any, I'll say any words from Game 4.
No, I don't think so. Game 5 is, frankly, way less interesting. There weren't as many momentum shifts.
Yep.
Dodgers started out strong. They got 2 in the first. It was, I think Bellinger? No.
Yes. Corey
Bellinger?
Seager and then Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
Corey Seager hit a single to right field, and then Cody Bellinger hit a single, like a ground ball up the middle, scoring Corey Seager, and then Max Muncy went to second base.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then top of the second inning, Jock Peterson hit a fucking bomb to left field, and it just looked all Dodgers like the whole game.
Well, I mean, the Rays answered in the bottom of the third. They had Arozarena and Diaz coming in with RBIs, and the Dodgers basically, it was 3-2, and then fifth inning, the Muncy hit a home run off of Glasnow, and then basically it was scoreless till the end. It was a pretty slow game. I mean, Kershaw went in and had a
That
ERA.
being said,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Clayton Kershaw, we can't skip over the oh my gosh, I'm trying to find it right here. We can't skip over Manny Margot stealing home.
Oh yeah,
Like that right there for me, like, cements Kershaw as just like that is somebody that I want on the mound when the game matters, because this game mattered. Like 2-2, it's completely tied. The Rays have all the momentum in the world after Game 4. Like that at that moment, I was like, boys, we got a series, and also, like, I don't know who's gonna fucking win. I still, in my heart of hearts, was just like 7 games and then the Dodgers, just because talent and just how they play the game just much better. But like, man, I couldn't believe that, honestly. I genuinely could not believe that, because when Manny Margot tried to steal, I love when somebody tries to steal home. I love it. It is legitimately one of my favorite things about baseball, because if you steal home, you're a fucking hero.
yeah.
Period. Like, nothing else. And Manny Margot did his absolute best. You know, he worked a walk off of Kershaw, if I recall. And then from there, actually, hold on. I'm going to correct myself here for a second. Let me see. Yes. He worked a walk. And then from there, a lot of stuff happened, man. Like, Margot still second. Margot went to third off of the E4. Yeah. Hunter Renfroe walked. And then Joey Wendell, because I believe what had happened was Will Smith, I'm very burpy. I ate before here. Before that happened, I believe Will Smith was the catcher, correct?
I think Will Smith was catcher that night, right? Or was it Austin
Pretty
Barnes?
sure. Let me see. It was Austin Barnes.
Okay.
So Austin Barnes tried to throw at second, completely misses his target, and then Margot is allowed to run to third. From there, Hunter Renfroe gets Hunter Renfroe walks. Batters, runners on first and third. And from there, Kershaw gets Joey Wendell to pop out. He gets Willie Adames swinging. And then Kevin Kiermaier is up to bat. Kiermaier, like I said, he had been very good.
Yeah.
He had been very good in the postseason, or rather, he'd been very good in this World Series. And Kershaw's delivery is something where Kershaw, like, when he's in, like, he's even been quoted as saying, when he's in the zone, he does his whole, like, stretch and everything like that. He needs, like, Max Muncy, like, whoever's at first base, he needs them to be like, hey. And immediately, if Kershaw had, like, been in his windup and pitched, there's no way that oh my God. You just gave me his name. Catcher.
Oh, Barnes.
Yeah, I was saying, there's no way that Barnes would have gotten him.
Yeah.
But Kershaw immediately threw it, and then, bam, right there, Margot was out. And, like, gutsy call, because, again, if you score that, game's tied up, and then you guys are like, and like I said, all the momentum in the world for some of the weirdest shit. And my understanding is Margot even wasn't supposed to. He didn't get a signal. He just went on his own. Hey. And honestly, you're a hero.
Gutsy
you
call.
live by the sword, you die by the sword. But I just wanted to talk about that inning in particular, because that inning, like, for me, is a big, like, as somebody who has loved to watch Clayton Kershaw, that was a very big statement as far as, like, what type of pitcher that dude is. Yeah. And anybody who thinks otherwise, it's just shut up. Like, at that point, you can't argue it.
Well, what's so interesting to me is if you're actually looking at, I have the box scores with me, right? So the two starters for the same game, you have Tyler Glasnow for the Rays, and you have Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. Both of them pitched approximately 5 innings. Kershaw pitched 5.2 innings. So they both allow, Kershaw has 5 hits, Glasnow has 6 hits. Off those hits, Kershaw allows 2 runs, where Glasnow allows 4. All of those are earned runs. There's no unearned. And they have similar strikeouts. Glasnow gets 7 strikeouts, Kershaw gets 6. But just because of the team behind them, I mean, Glasnow ends up with an ERA of 9.64, and Kershaw gets a 2.31.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, like, it just goes to show, like, whether it's Glasnow, I don't think did a bad job. I think that the hits he let up were worse. They were bigger. 2 of them were home runs. That was a problem. But even when you look at the numbers specifically to say, like, well, how many hits does a pitcher allow? I mean, it wasn't that different. It was just that the Dodgers were able to handle what was handed to them better.
Yes. I think that in general, I would not say that his outing was good. I wouldn't go that far. Like, he had 7 strikeouts, sure, but he got 6 hits, 4 earned runs, not great. Like, and again, Tyler Glasnow he's gonna be in the fucking World Series again, for sure. My whole thing is that Tyler Glasnow is much like Garrett Cole was during the season, in that he will let up a lot of home runs, I feel. Not consistently, like, he's letting up like 10 home runs a game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's one of those high risk, high reward pitchers where he's got that fastball, and sometimes he tries to place it in places that it really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And you get stuff like that because, like, the next, like, the inning after, like, the inning after the 4th. The 5th inning, that was what I was going to say. The inning after the 4th.
Yeah, the numbers. Which one's after the 4th?
Yeah. And top of the 5th inning, funny that I mentioned Max Muncy, he juices that ball and sends it home.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking gone. And that's the key difference that I will say between Clayton Kershaw and Tyler Glasnow for this entire series. The team could pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong. I think that the team itself, I think that the Dodgers had they were just, like, dope. Like, I'm certain that whenever they see that Kershaw's on the mound, they're like, awesome.
Yeah.
Because he'll be good. And that 4th inning showed that he was.
Yeah.
Glasnow, I won't say crumbled under the pressure because, like, He didn't get forced out of the game, They were still able to keep him in until the 5th. But I think that giving up every single earned run and losing the game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that it was great. I think that his strikeouts were. I mean, obviously strikeouts are great. But I would say he walked 3 batters, struck out 7, and then 6 hits and 4 earned runs. And I mean, I don't say it as like a Yankees fan or anything like that, but it's just, in this regard, it's just not what you want. And I mean, it sounds so silly to say, but even with somebody like Kershaw had very similar, like you had said, they had very similar, like a very similar line, but the difference in this is that when Tyler Glasnow slipped up, the Rays just couldn't answer back,
exactly.
And that is the point that I feel you're trying to make.
Yeah. Well, I guess my point was to sort of make a maximalist, whatever,
I got you.
opinion off of what you're saying, is that I feel like they sell, and it's not that it's wrong, it's totally there, but they sell these pitcher duels a lot, but probably half of a pitcher's duel is also who's fielding it. Because, like you said, they have similar lines. I mean, admittedly, yeah, the hits that Glasnow gave up were more substantive than the ones that Kershaw was giving up. Kershaw didn't give up any home runs. But also, it's like you can have a pitcher's duel where the pitcher totally fails just because his field doesn't respond.
Yep.
So that's all I was going to say is that, I
game of inches.
And because, it happens with every team where I love this pitcher and then they do bad. I fucking hate this pitcher. It's like...
Yeah, which is stupid. It's like... Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, it wasn't a great outing for Tyler Glasnow, but, also, it's not like he just shit the bed. He was doing okay.
Like you had said at the beginning of this, it was the 2 best teams in the MLB playing against one another.
The number one
teams. So, at this point, Tyler Glasnow giving up 4 earned runs against Mookie Betts, Corey Seager, Justin Turner, Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger, Kike, Jock Peterson.
What are you gonna do? That's you're literally playing an all-star team basically.
Oh yeah, and that's absolutely how I feel about that.
Well, let's talk about who you do want. You said because Tyler Glasnow's not what you want. Let's talk about what you do want. Blake Snell, Game 6. That bastard got robbed of a win.
Dude, I have so much to say. Oh my god. So,
wait. Can I just give his line real quick? Because it's fucking insane. Blake Snell, 5 innings and 1 extra at bat, 5.1. Entire time.
Yes.
What?
Out.
You said sorry, at bat. You're right. Yeah, 1 extra out. Over 5.1, he gives 2 hits. Only 2 hits. One of them is his last out. He also allows only 1 run, his last out. And so, and he has 9 strikeouts across his 5 innings. Totally dominant. The Dodgers literally do not score any runs until
so we're clear.
Yeah.
Really quickly. It was 1-0 when he left.
Yes, yeah. Tampa Bay was up, and the Dodgers hadn't scored. Dodgers did not score a single run until the inning that they took Snell out. That is exactly what... And he got out, and it was the 6th inning. That's, longer than a lot of starters are willing to go in, games like that.
And this is the thing. This is my big issue, is that you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Kevin Cash, at the beginning of this series in Game 1, left Tyler Glasnow in there to die at 115 pitches where he is not he's not playing well, he's not pitching well, he's pitching like shit. Blake Snell, who had the record for quickest person to 9 strikeouts within the first 5, I believe he's the first person to ever do that within the first 5 innings. That's not enough.
I believe you. I don't know.
I think that I'm pretty sure I heard Joe Buck saying that either he was the first or second person. Maybe John Smoltz said it too. But The guy was on fire. He had 6 strikeouts equally from like this was his third time through the at bat. And that's kind of where analytics play a part into this, is that the analytics show for quite a lot of different players, you'll see OPS. They'll look at the OPS for it. And normally the first time you see somebody through the first time through the lineup, it's normally like 0.96 it's like 650, something like that. It's a decent scoring, especially for somebody like Blake Snell. Second time through, they've already seen him, so like if they need to, they make adjustments. Third time through, a lot of people see that is the worst.
Yeah.
For Blake Snell, he sees players better through the third time.
Yeah, he's not getting gassed.
No, and even then, the thing about that is that analytics are great for the regular season. It is Game 7, an elimination game of the World Series. This man struck out through the batting order twice Mookie Betts, Corey Seager, and Justin Turner. In case through this discussion we haven't let whoever's listening to this be aware of it, Corey Seager and Justin Turner were putting up MVP numbers in the first 5 games of the series. First 5. And from there, after Blake Snell gets pulled, and I don't mean to fast forward, but realistically, the only thing that was happening from those first 5-6 innings is Blake Snell was fucking dealing. Randy Arozarena hit a leadoff home run at the beginning of the game, and nobody had any fucking answers for anybody.
Yeah.
Like as far as the Rays were concerned. So that is where my frustration lie. Because Kevin Cash comes out after Blake Snell surrenders his second hit of the game in the 6th inning to Austin Barnes, which was such a fucking nothing hit. It was a fluke hit. And I know that sounds goofy, and I don't mean for that to sound like tinfoil hat or anything.
Yeah.
But it was just like a blooper into center field, like mid, Nothing that the defenders couldn't get to.
Yeah, it wasn't catastrophic.
So, yeah, it wasn't anything bad. But the analytics state, oh, well, this is third time through. Shit, we got to get him out of here because he's been pitching like that. And it's like his pitch count was at 72 or 69. What the others?
Because he was getting batters out so quickly.
He had at least 30 pitches left. And at that point, I understand the short leash. I understand you got to do what brought you to the dance. But the thing is, there's certain times where you just have to throw that fucking rule book that's brought you there out the window, because the thing is, you did that in Game 1 when you just let Tyler Glasnow fucking die. So for me, seeing something like that is unacceptable. Like I'm pretty sure that I had tweeted this or something, or mentioned it to you in the chat or whatnot. I was like, I want the Dodgers to score fucking 15 now. Like, yeah. I want them to just absolutely obliterate them. Because the thing is, I was hoping for a Game 7, and then that was robbed of me as soon as they took Blake Snell away. Like, yeah. it just was. There was nothing. And here's the thing. Here's the biggest part for me. If you're going to put somebody in, why is it Nick Anderson? The last 7 times he has pitched, he has surrendered an earned run. He has surrendered a game-winning run. He has surrendered, I would say, the last, I think that since Aaron Judge had hit a home run off of him in the ALDS, he had surrendered a run every single outing he was out there. So, for me, why didn't you go to Castillo? Why didn't you go, you have like, you got a whole stable full of guys who throw 98 miles an hour. You said that when Aroldis Chapman threw a wild pitch at your boy. Why the fuck are you not getting somebody that isn't Nick Anderson? Like, yeah. It made 0 sense. 0 sense to me whatsoever. And honest to God, I don't think that's hyperbole to say that I saw like A-Rod and a couple other people saying that it was quite possibly the worst decision in World Series history. I can't argue with that. I literally can't argue with that. He was dealing. And especially he was dealing to the players that were literally making this World Series ring happen for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Like, it boggles my mind that this happens and, like, Kevin Cash isn't fired. Like, I don't think he's going to be fired. I realistically don't.
I
but,
mean,
like,
that's...
this...
Well, Kevin Cash also got them to the World Series.
I agree, but the thing is, he got them there and then made a catastrophic decision. Like, yeah. I know that it's a bit hyperbolic for what I'm saying right now.
How many times have you said the same thing about Roberts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Dave Roberts just didn't, like, he was just like, oh shit, you're taking the torch? Gotcha. Like, at that point, Dave Roberts was like, oh, I don't have, this stupid? Okay, cool. Dave Roberts put his starter in for, like, 3 relief innings or something along those lines.
Well,
or
the Dodgers,
kept a start, but, like...
The Dodgers just had a bullpen game. Their starter was Gonsolin, and he only pitched...
Oh, no. I don't mean this game. I'm just saying, like, past sins is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
But... And that's the thing. I mean, I had history to back me up as far as Dave Roberts was concerned. Like,
yeah, but I'm just saying you're always like, well, because of this one thing, why I don't know why they're not fired. It's like, well, because Dave Roberts did get them a ring.
Yes. And I think that I don't think that I ever wanted Dave Roberts fired. My issue was whatever, not about Dave Roberts, but Kevin Cash, like that in particular. The thing that the over managing that I've felt about Dave Roberts, like, what I will say is that Dave Roberts never outwardly lost them a World Series. That's what I will say. And this decision lost them the World Series. Like, I don't know anybody who is going to sit there and argue that point and have a valid answer for me, because the thing is, you had, like I said, you had ample opportunity to just put Castillo in.
Yeah.
Like, you have a bunch of other guys who are pitching so much better than Nick Anderson had been in the postseason. Putting Nick Anderson in here is like the icing on the cake. If like I said, literally anybody else, and I'm not Nick Anderson is a good pitcher, but like he just did not have it for the majority of the postseason.
Yeah.
So for me, it's I can't believe it. It is absolutely baffling to me. Like, and if I was Blake Snell, oh my fucking God, I wouldn't even want Kevin Cash to look me in the eye. I was listening to CC Sabathia's podcast, and CC was like, he needs to get the fuck out of there. Like, yeah. I like, just my thing with analytics, and I don't know if I said this, but it's fine for the regular season because I mean, I did say this. I'm going to reiterate it, though.
Okay.
It is Game 6 of an elimination game in the World Series. You don't have any other shots. You need to take this one. And they didn't. And I just, like, that at that point, I was just like, fuck it. Just, the game's over. Series is over. That's fine. Clayton has his ring, and I don't have to dramatically wait to see him win it. Like, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
And
it should be said that the Rays actually didn't do... The Rays bullpen that followed that up was not awful either. I mean, they only allowed 3 runs throughout the whole game. And the first 5 were scoreless for the Dodgers.
Yep.
They real fuck up basically came Mookie home run off of Fairbanks in the 8th inning. When they were tied.
Yeah. Peter Fairbanks has such murderer eyes. Like, that dude.
Okay.
Like,
let me see. I'm gonna look up Pete Fairbanks.
Look up Pete Fairbanks right now and look at his fucking eyes and just be like, oh.
Yeah, he kind of does have murder eyes.
Dude, like,
they're kind of soulless.
Man, yeah, oh yeah.
They're like
certainly he's a great
wide
guy
and glazed over.
But he's like, and you're like,
especially when he smiles, he's. I'll put in a picture of him.
Oh, like. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to derail you. You let me talk for quite a bit, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it was kind of a weird anticlimactic ending because, like,
yep.
So in that 6th inning that Nick Anderson inherited, there was 2 runs, and I think one of them got charged to Snell, one of them got charged to Anderson, and then in the 8th inning, there's a home run off of Pete Fairbanks. But still, it's only a 3-1 game, and then it basically just sort of petered out from there.
at that point, for me, you could see it in the Rays' eyes, man.
Yeah, they
Like,
were totally tired. They were just exhausted.
like Rosarena can only put people on his back so hard in this particular game, and like he was trying. Don't get me wrong. I think that like players like Kevin Kiermaier, Brandon Lau, and Rosarena absolutely deserve credit for the World Series as far as how they played.
Yeah.
But man, like watching in the top of the ninth with Julio Urias, like watching him, Mike Brousseau's at bat where he strikes out looking, and then Willie Adames' strikeout. It was just literally 3 pitches, and he just looked and walked away. Like that for me was very telling as far as everybody's morale. Like at that point, because it's the top of the ninth in the World Series, and you are looking like that. Like goddamn, that sucks. That sucks. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, man. Dodgers won it, and that
And you know what? I will say to the Rays though. And clearly, look, the Dodgers pitching core is very good.
Yep.
They had a bullpen game. They didn't have an ace up there. You guys really should have. You should have been able to get more than one.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it wasn't even like they were like losing in clutch situations. The Dodgers and the Rays had the same amount of hits. They both had 5 hits. And the fucking Rays had 16 strikeouts. Like, you know, there's a point where it's like, I definitely think Kevin Cash made a poor decision. But also there's an aspect of like, well, the offense needs to pick up. I mean, you can't, like you said, Rosarena can't carry the whole team. Also, I just want to say about Blake Snell, he really should have pulled a Curt Schilling and refused to leave the mound.
Dude, Curt Schilling, Mike Mussina, Mad Max Scherzer, like anybody. That would have been fun. Like I was watching the Mike Mussina one where it was the top of the ninth or bottom of the ninth, and he was pitching a complete game, and it was like one more out, and Joe Torre is just sitting at the steps, and he starts to walk up, and Mike Mussina goes, "No, you stay there." And Joe Torre's like, okay, fine, fuck. Like, he just walks away. Or Max Scherzer, like, with his 2 eyes, just like, no. And I'm like, you got it.
Yeah.
Like that's, I completely wish that would have been the case. But the thing is, the Rays philosophy is like, you gotta have thick skin and blah, blah, blah. That's why if you go back and you watch, Kevin Cash doesn't even look at him.
Yeah.
He singles to the bullpen, doesn't even look at Blake Snell, and Blake Snell like says like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" or something like that. Like, this is what a pitcher wants to do, and if that's the Rays' philosophy, that's fine. But if you guys think that, like, and again, I'm maybe possibly overanalyzing or being hyperbolic when it comes to something like this, but if you guys expect to keep Blake Snell after something like that, fuck, man. That's
he in a
rough.
Contract year?
I believe they did an extension, but I believe he has an opt-out.
Okay. Well,
I believe. I could be
Blake
wrong about
Snell,
that.
if you're looking for a way better manager, Joe Girardi is looking for pitchers. Check us out.
Honest to God, he's not wrong.
Well, I just want.
You're going over here.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. I pointed this way, and then I was like, oh wait, he's probably over here.
Oh yeah. I'm on the other side.
Yeah.
And I also want to say, on top of that, the thing is about pitchers is like, I want to know, because you were saying like, okay, the third inning rotation, right? Is that gonna, or sorry, the third rotation, not third inning, the third rotation around the batting order. Is that
third time through the batting order? Yeah,
is that?
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Following.
Is that the time where pitchers get worse? I want to know. Somebody out there is going to run the numbers. I'm sure somebody has, and I just haven't seen it. Blake Snell's ERA through the third go through the batting order versus other pitchers.
It's better.
It's better than most pitchers? Okay.
That's what what I will tell you is that I watched John Boy's breakdown of that, and he actually went through, and his OPS is better in the third time through than it is in the second.
Sorry.
The second is the worst.
Better against his own OPS.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So for me, if you're even going to go by the analytics
Right.
show
Would
that
say
you should have
to
kept
leave
him
it.
in.
Yeah.
So it's just again, Yankees fan here, but like fuck, I was so mad because I told you, I wanted there to be Game 7. I literally
Yeah.
said Dodgers in 7. I wanted to see another Game 7 because they're fucking great. They're a lot of fun, and there's no better two words in all of sports, honestly. So
Free baseball.
what's that?
Said free baseball.
Okay, there's another one. It's the second, but man, I just could not believe it, and I felt so bad for Blake Snell because like, what else could he have done aside from a no-hitter / perfect game?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I think of. I can't believe it.
Well,
I can't.
Let's look on the bright side. Look at the silver lining here. Kershaw now has a ring. Corey Seager now has a ring. Cody Bellinger now has a ring. Most importantly, Kike Hernandez has a ring.
That's right.
You know what?
His
Mookie
hips don't lie.
had a ring, but he gets another one. You know.
Yep.
He gets a ring for each man
with
now.
a team that appreciates him more and is willing to shell out the cash for it.
I was gonna say at least a team that can afford him.
Yeah. Somebody, I saw there was an article that was like Red Sox are going to be big spenders in the offseason, and I was like, oh, go fuck yourself.
With what budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's great. I'm happy for the Dodgers. They deserve this one. They've been, you know, chomping at the bit for several years, and now
it was the narrative after all the Astros
yeah.
stuff came out. Like the Dodgers were going to they were going to be the best. As soon as that Mookie trade happened, they were going to be the best team.
And even without the Astros, I mean, they've been to the postseason 2 more times. So it's like,
yep.
You know, they were going to get there eventually. And now that they've done it, I can stop fucking hearing about them, and I stop having to face Dodgers in the postseason. I don't want to deal with it. Sorry. National League, we're kicking the Dodgers out. We're getting rid of them.
Dodgers are gone.
Dodgers are gone. Padres only. All other California teams, you're going to absorb the Dodgers market.
You could put the Angels in the NL West, and then
no, because then they're gonna beat us too.
The Angels?
I think you misunderstand how bad the Phillies are.
I think the Angels had a better record, or the Phillies had a better record than the Angels.
That's only because they weren't playing the Angels.
Oh, that's true. You got a point.
Listen, hey, look, you have a 20-game versus series between the Angels and the Phillies. I'm not confident the Phillies take it.
I think baseball loses at that point, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
It just depends on who what was it somebody said, who the Los Angeles Mike Trouts signed in the offseason.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Mike Trout injured or not in that series?
I would say everybody on both teams is healthy.
Oh, okay, then yeah, that's fine. That's a fun game. That's a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
I always liked hearing. I remember Bryce Harper after he had gotten signed was just like, we're definitely going after Mike Trout, and then like 2 weeks later they gave him like a $10 million 10-year, or like not a $10 million, like it was like $100 million contract for 10 years, like extension.
It's so sad because Mike Trout is from Philly. He's a Phillies fan.
Yep.
And I was like, I remember hearing him being like, you know, be pretty cool. But it seems like people who grew up Phillies fans become very successful somewhere else. Mike Trout, Mike Piazza, fucking I think Sixto actually may have been from. Actually, maybe I'm making that up.
Sixto Sanchez?
I think he was a Phillies fan growing up, was he not?
I'll be honest.
I might be lying about that.
I don't think I would ever have known who it was a Phillies fan when they
Phil
were.
Gosselin's from Philly, so.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why people were so happy for him. He's from Philly, so.
That's cool.
He was successful for half a season with us, and frankly, he deserves more. See if we keep him. Actually, no, I think we have him for 2 years, and he's not getting paid nearly enough. He's getting paid like some crazy low rate. He got paid like $500,000.
Holy moly!
We got him for 2 years for $500,000, and he was supposed to play in the minor leagues, and then we ended up putting him on our 30-man. This year is so weird. Anyway, so now we have our first ever SpaceBall. I'm sorry. Clarification. This is going to go up on Wednesday when SpacePod would usually go up, because due to our wonderful election special, which will happened in the past, so I'm only assuming it was a disaster. But the one that we're going to do on Tuesday, we will not have a Wednesday podcast, so instead this is going up on Wednesday due to the strange schedule. So anyway, the SpaceBall Superlatives are now, for the first time, open. Both myself and Bobby have brought our own Superlative Awards to give out to players in the MLB this year. Bobby, would you like to go first, or should I?
Yes, I can go first. How many would you like to be doing for this?
I have 5.
I can come up with 2 more. I have 3 right
now. Okay.
So, in honor of how I look right now, incredibly high, SpaceBall's Weed Face Award goes to the one, the only, the dankest Cody Bellinger.
I'm not high. I just look like that. Quote, Cody Bellinger.
Just put it right there. Just put it right in the middle.
Yeah, he has a great weed face. And you know what? I wouldn't want him any other way. For a man who's clearly stoned 90% of the time, he's very handsome.
Oh, dude, for sure. For sure. And like it was just so funny. It was so funny to see him just like after they won still with the same fucking like goofy like.
Well, in Dodgers related superlatives, I'll go ahead and give mine, which is best suspension of the year, Joe Kelly. At 8 games and counting. Every time you mention
That's true.
I believe that by mentioning it, I gave him another 8 games today.
To be honest with you, I'm shocked that he was able to play in the postseason for how many suspensions he's been having to receive.
Well, he appealed it like A-Rod. They're going to give it to him later.
Yeah. For me, SpaceBall's best comebacker award, Jose Alvarez.
Ooh, okay.
I'm sorry, but it was fucking great. I can't. Oh man.
Our next award, only umpire that deserves to keep his job, is Pat Hoeberg. Congratulations, Pat Hoeberg, for I think he had a game that was
the perfect game.
I don't think it was perfect, but it was like 95% accurate or something.
So there was another game. There was a Rays-Astros game. I think it was game 3. Literally perfect.
Really?
He had
That's
a perfect
awesome.
score. Yeah.
And you know what? I don't know why. He's going to become the head official, by the way. He's only 35. And as somebody put it in the comments of one of the posts that I saw this in, they goes, well, yeah, of course. He's the only guy who's not blind still at home. He's the only one not going blind.
That's awesome. SpaceBall's biggest mistake? I mean, Kevin Cash.
Whoa. Biggest
No,
mistake?
I mean, like, that was the biggest mistake of the year.
Oh. He made the... I thought you meant...
Yes,
you should
yes.
say Kevin Cash
I
taking out Blake
I mean,
Snell. Not that Kevin Cash as a man is a mistake.
Hey, man, I mean, I'm not saying one way or the other, you know? It's up to interpretation.
That's up to his parents.
That's true. That's very true. I'm certain he's a lovely person.
But the SpaceBall biggest asshole to ruin a perfectly good celebration, Justin Turner.
I got one for you as well. Justin Turner, our first SpaceBall 2-time award winner, most positive.
That's good. Yeah, well, Justin Turner, look, hey, hats off to you, and also over my mouth so I don't have to breathe in whatever you're putting out.
Mask clearly off for you.
Yeah.
You should probably put that on.
Mask off.
Yeah.
Player who is most likely to be Canadian that I found out isn't way later, Freddie Freeman.
That's fair. For a moment you had me. I was like, he's Canadian? Oh wait, no.
No, but you listen to that and you go, oh yeah, that would make sense, right?
Yeah, right?
And then
I mean, for sure.
Everything from the way he talks to like how nice he is, you're like, I swear to God, I was like, is Freddie Freeman Canadian? And then I looked up,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, he's from California.
Yep.
So weird.
Oh, I was so. They're gonna be back. They're gonna be back.
Oh, they're gonna be back.
But...
They're gonna be there. As the rest of the NL East is unable to afford any good players, they'll be back.
The final one for me, was that your final one actually?
No, I have one more.
Okay. The final one for me is Spaceball's best split. G-Man Choi.
Yeah, swear to God, I almost wrote that down.
Yep.
That I was looking at highlights from the year, and the G-Man Choi split was on there, and I almost wrote most acrobatic and mine is man most likely to be named commissioner after the players rise up in a violent revolt against the owner class. John Boy.
Oh, I was thinking Trevor Bauer, but that works too.
No, Trevor Bauer will just be the head of the MLBPA.
Oh, that's fair. I just thought of one more.
Okay.
Spaceball's King of Baseball 2020, Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yes. King of Baseball. Well, that I think does it for this year's whole season. It was short, but it was also really long. It was only 15 weeks, 16 weeks.
Thank you for the journey of coming along with America's greatest pastime, Spaceball podcast.
Yeah, thank you for those of you that listen to us recount possibly the most insane season of one of the oldest sports currently running.
Yes.
It's bizarre.
And because this has happened and Spaceball has gained sentience, Spaceball is now America's favorite pastime.
Yes.
No longer baseball.
Abner Doubleday could not have foreseen this.
No. But you know what? It's a welcome surprise.
The MLB continues solely so that the future can have Spaceball. They really are a subservient accessory limb to us now.
I mean, Rob Manfred is just a subservient accessory limb to...
John Boy. Commissioner John Boy.
Sorry.
I am now naming him commissioner.
Good old Jimmy.
Geek Space has bought the MLB for a packet of Cracker Jack cards and a melted ice cream cone.
Hey, dude, what I can tell you, baseball Game 7 of NLCS beat out the entire NBA Finals.
Wow, really? Well,
baseball's back, baby.
Baseball is back. It's done.
Yeah.
But we will be back next season, probably, if the country's still here.
Tune in on Tuesday to find out.
To show up Tuesday when this is probably already done, but I guess we'll show up.
Check the VOD.
And check the VOD to see if the country's still here. I don't know if you went to bed, maybe you left while you were gone. We'll figure it out. But America's pastime deserves an America. So if there's no America, then I guess we're going to be doing a KBO podcast next year. Who knows?
I would totally be there for it. Let's go Dinos.
Let's go Lotte Giants. There. All right. Thank you, everybody, and good night.
Call me Junior. Call me Junior. It's showtime.